So what's going on, YouTube? Bo Humble Word checking back at you. Part 2 of the video I did yesterday in regards to the performance of the team against the Buffalo Bills. I was recently this morning going back and forth with one of the people that comment on my videos, and he was stating how he feels like the team itself is in big trouble, I guess, for the future. I don't feel the same way. However, I didn't want to see a 1-7, starting point. But you got to go through growing pains, like I was just explaining to him. You have to go through that in order to get to where you want to be or develop as players. Now, I really want to see them beat Houston this weekend coming up. I would hate for them to lose to Houston and go 1-8. I actually want to see them finish the season at least 9-7 at least. That'll be considered a winning season. And I don't know if Flores will actually keep his job, but at least he have another winning season on his belt. Given the fact that he lost 7 in a row. But there's some things I want to see really like sharpened or fixed ASAP. For one, they really do need to spend money on veteran linemen. People that are actually healthy, that can stay on the field, that can actually produce and keep Tua healthy and out of harm's way. Secondly, they need a legitimate running back. Myles Gaskin he ain't it. Needed Ahmed. Malcolm Brown is decent, but you don't put him in there enough to even get a kid a chance to get going. So Myles Gaskin, no, get rid of him. The man got hands of stone. Literally, he dropped. Well, one of the passes that Tua threw, he's supposed to be more outside, and when he came back in a little bit, Tua threw it where he should have been, and he went to where he basically ran the route where he wanted to go. Same thing with Mac Hollins. Mac Hollins ran in, Tua threw out. Miscommunication. Same thing with Gaskins. For some reason, he ran in, Tua threw it out. And he reached back to try to catch it when the entire time he's supposed to basically kept turning toward the sideline. Had he done that, Tua hits him and he keeps going. And maybe he can give a first down to keep that drive going. But he didn't do that. And 3 and out. I think they went 4 consecutive times 3 and out. I think in the third quarter. Yeah, but like I said, Myles Gaskin, get rid of him. The man can't catch. He runs decent, but in terms of see the hole, attack the hole, he kind of waits for like a hole that a semi truck can go through to open up, and that's not how the NFL works. I mean, yeah, you get a couple of lines, you get a couple of holes like that here and there, but that ain't no continuing theme when you are a running back. And when your line is suspect and they can't do simple blocks, they can't hold their block. Not saying the Buffalo Bills defense is trash because they're the best in the NFL, but that's for a reason. And most of this is predicated off pressure because that secondary ain't that great. They got Levi Wallace and they got Tre'Davious White, he's a stud of a cornerback. But if you put him to where he's actually really good in zone coverage, man to man, no. The man cannot stay with you man to man for stride. No, he's good for short yardage and stuff like that, or short yards, or little out routes and stuff. He's the man today. He blankets those routes all day long. But you put him in a situation where he has to cover down the field. He gives up plays. He gives up big chunk yardage. But underneath stuff and stuff like that, no, that's a danger zone because he'll jump the route and pick it. So, and I think Tua learned that the hard way yesterday. He got picked by somebody else, but it wasn't Tre'Davious White. He nearly got picked by Tre'Davious White like twice because he jumped 2 routes, and I think Tua threw it the opposite where he was going to be at or where he targeted to be at. So he avoided 2 picks for Tre'Davious White, but the kid is an all-pro corner for a reason. Anyway, the Buffalo Bills defense still can be beaten. You saw what Tennessee did to them. You got a solid line and a great running game. You force the corners to come up, that's one-on-one coverage. Or you force that safety to come up, that's one-on-one coverage with the corners who can't hold up that long. So, for me, the same thing Doug said. Miami has to start seeing the bigger picture. You have to invest in a line. You got to invest in your defensive line. You can't say, oh, well, we'll go draft another wide receiver, and another running back, and another, corner or nothing like that. No. Build your linebackers and your defensive line and your offensive line. The other talent, you can get around the league. You can get it. Or you can develop that talent, or at least get somebody that's going to actually work hard, because even their slot receivers for Miami don't work as hard. The only person they had that did anything was Grant, but they let him go because he made so many mistakes. And now people are criticizing Jalen Waddle, who's a rookie. Who's a rookie? Come on, man. A rookie. And y'all criticizing the kid because 5 times yesterday he lined up in the wrong spot. It happens. What rookie you know don't make mistakes? Please tell me so that I don't know. That's why I'm on the same page with you guys. But rookies are gonna make mistakes. He's a rookie. And I don't want to hear that, well, no, that's not an excuse. It ain't. Really? Now, if Gronkowski lines up in the wrong, on the wrong side of the formation, then you got a problem. He's a 6-year veteran, maybe 7 years, I think. He's either 4 or 5, maybe 6-year veteran. If he lines up in the wrong spot, then you got a problem. But there's no way you should be sitting there trashing a rookie. It makes no sense. Because my whole question to you is, what the hell did he do to you? What did he do to you? So he lined up on the wrong side 5 times. It does happen. They're in a dire situation in Buffalo to try to win that game, which a lot of people expected them to get blowed out, and they didn't, because their defense actually played worth of something yesterday. Now, the offense let them down yesterday. I'm not going to sit here and I'm going to call a spade a spade. When the defense let them down, I call it out. So the offense let them down, I got to call it out. The offense let them down yesterday. They really did. Yes, they produced first down, but first downs don't win games. Points do. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, well, they got a lot. No. Points wins games, not first downs. First downs just help you stay on the field longer to get another 3 chances to get closer to the end zone to score. That's what they do. But with that being said, if I'm Stephen Ross, do not, and I repeat, I'm gonna say this out loud, do not trade Tua. Do not get rid of the kid. You have some things you can build with him if you just put the pieces around him to do so. Every quarterback in this league needs pieces. I don't give a damn who you are. Tom Brady was known for making the best with the least, but he had a goddamn offensive line. He had a line. And I don't care what people say, oh, well, no, he had a receiving core. He had a running back. He had a tight end. Did he not? Did the man not have Gronkowski? I'll wait. Like I thought. He had decent running backs, and he had an offensive line that kept him off his ass off the ground. That's right, kept him off his ass off the ground. So he had pieces around him to put points on the board to win games. He did not do it by himself. So this whole facade about him being the greatest, yeah, he is the greatest based on what he's accomplished, but he didn't do it by himself. If he never won a single game, he wouldn't be considered the greatest. He'd be just another Dan Marino stereotype, basically. All the records in the world, but has nothing else to show for it. And it's not all about, Super Bowl rings, even though Tom got 7. But at the end of the day, they put New England spent the money to put the stuff around him to see what he can do. And now they saw it, and 20 years later, they got 6 Super Bowls out of it. So, I'm saying that to say this, Miami, I'm telling you, if this year's, it's pretty much a waste. But if you guys win some games, build a little momentum going to next year, you need to go into free agency, and you need to build around the kid. You need to put a line around him. You need to put a decent core of talent around him to help him win games. Because y'all bitching about him throwing 200 yards a game, well then, to me, if his receivers ain't running no more than 5-10-yard routes, how the hell he gonna throw it 40 yards and they're not going deep? The only person that goes deep is Gronkowski. And at least he catches it. He caught a 40-yarder yesterday. And for those who say, oh, he just do check downs. If there's nobody else open, what is he supposed to do? Take off running? Michael Vick? I'm asking for my sanity here. You know, I find it fascinating that people will sit there and put him down about checking down all the time. But then it's like, do y'all not realize the game of football? If your first and second and third read ain't open, or they're not getting open, or they don't have the separation you need to put the ball in there, you're gonna check down to your very last person who really standing over to the left or to the right of you. You're gonna check it down. But if Tom Brady does that, you know, oh, that's Tom being Tom. So he's making things happen. He's extending the play to make things happen. No, dumbass, he just checked the ball down, and the running back got the rest of it. But when Tua does it, he checked down Charlie. Some of you guys' football IQ, I really am impressed by. It's almost like you guys on a third grade level when it comes to understanding the game of football. It ain't chemistry. It ain't rocket science. Some of this stuff is really, really simple, but y'all like to complicate things. And beyond that point, their defense finally played with some heart yesterday, because for almost 4 quarters, the Bills didn't score like that. They didn't score in bunches. They only scored again because of their interception, which Tua tried to force it. He did. But he saw the opening, he took it. To his credit, he took it. And y'all can get mad at interception. He threw another interception for the 3rd game in a row. Last season, what did you guys say about the kid? He don't take chances. He won't try to throw it. He won't try to throw it in the coverage. He won't do this. He won't do that. When he does do it, oh my God, it's a problem. Then he gonna start being labeled as an interception, king or whatever. No, he's not a turnover machine. But to me, if your receivers are running the same direct area, that is an error on play calling. That is an error on your coordinator, who's having 3 people line up and run in the same vicinity. That's a recipe for disaster. And to me, that play probably shouldn't have been called, because it was almost 3 Bills over there in that one area. But hell, Fuller Parker can't stay healthy. Fuller damn sure can't stay healthy. He just got on the team and he only played like 3 games or 2 games, and he hurt because of dumbass Jacoby Brissett. Which means he probably gonna end up getting cut. Well, he might not make it next year. I don't think he will. But this is an annoying thing with this fan base. I mean, it's the constant bashing. It's the constant, always nagging, always complaining. And they'll say, oh, I've been a fan for 30 years and 20 years and blah, 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 blah. Yet, you being a fan does not affect the team. It does not affect what the organization does or anything like that. You're just a fan, just as I am. I can state my opinion on my phone all day long, on my platform, my channel, but it ain't like it's gonna reach Stephen Ross. It ain't gonna reach Chris Greer. It damn sure ain't gonna reach Brian Flores, because they do what they do for a reason. They get paid to make those kind of decisions. I'm just saying that I would hope they'll be smart enough to actually realize that instead of drafting a rookie offensive lineman, go get you a veteran guy. Don't waste that money on the lineman. Get you some playmakers around the boy. Get some people that's going to actually make plays on both sides of the ball. Get you a linebacker that's reliable, that'll stay healthy, that you don't beat up during training camp or during OTAs, and then go out there and get you a defensive lineman aside of Raekwon Davis and Christian Wilkinson and Jalen Phillips. Go get another one. That way, they can start to formulate their pressure without the linebacking core running through those gaps. If you can do what the Los Angeles Rams are able to do, which is take 2 guys and literally crush an offensive line, then guess what? You're winning. Because that offensive line has to shuffle itself, and they got to call out the correct protection. Because if they don't, then you got 2 different guys that's going to cause havoc every single time you say hike. And if that is what happens, that is beautiful. You're winning. But when you can't generate pressure and you can't force and you can't get to the quarterback, they're gonna just stand back there for 4 to 5 seconds and they're gonna eat you alive. And that's what you've seen happen, ladies and gentlemen. Except for yesterday, they were bringing more pressure to Allen, which is forcing him to speed his clock up and get rid of the ball or throw it away or whatever he was doing, you know. But he didn't throw a pick, but he came close. But Nick Needham, he need to be gone too. I don't know why he's still on the team, because the man can't cover me or my wife. Literally, we both will burn Nick Needham, and we're in our 30s. The man can't cover a shot on the ground, but yet he keep getting chance after chance to get out on the field and show what he can't do. When is enough enough? That's all I'm saying. So they really do need to formulate a plan to where some of this stuff gets fixed, because if it doesn't, it's gonna get a lot worse. And I hate to say it, but Tua's gonna be the center of all this blame, and people gonna be calling for him to get traded in his real first year, which he missed 3 games. So he just played his 3rd straight game. Now against Houston, I think the Dolphins gonna win, but it won't be by much. I really think that Tua can actually put up 300-400 yards that game, and then I think the next game they got is either the Ravens or the Jets. One of those two. I think back-to-back games he can put up 400 yards, and that will kind of silence people. If they win these next 2 games, then they take on the Ravens. They'll be 3-7. Then they take on the Ravens. If they upset the Ravens, they'll be 4-7. Now, if they beat the Ravens, then hey, from there it's a straight slope down to like win out. If you win out, you'll be 11-7. Strong possibility to make the playoffs. Very strong, but it's slim if you lose to the Ravens or if you lose to the Texans. And I think they got the Texans at home, but you have to win you have to win the rest of these games, or at least beat the teams you're supposed to beat. The Giants, the Panthers, you know, the bottom feeders basically the NFL. At least beat those teams. The Texans, you know, beat those teams, and then you'll have some pride. Because it's not to say you can't compete with the elite, but so far it seems that way. But to be fair, they can't stay healthy. How can you compete with teams if your roster is depleted and you putting out backups and backups upon backups on the field, especially in key positions? You playing people with no experience out there who getting experience on the fly, and what is it doing for you other than causing you misery? So they have a lot to work on, a whole lot. There's no point in going through walkthroughs or meetings if you're not going to speak the truth. What they should do is sit that entire team to sit down and air all this shit out. Air all of it out. Because at this rate, they looking at possibly going 1-17. That's not, pretty sure nobody wants to be on that bandwagon, because that would not be fun. But anyway, guys, that's my little spiel on part 2. If you like what you heard, feel free to comment, like the video, subscribe. Tell me what you guys think, though. Could they possibly win it out? Could they possibly win the rest of their games outside of Baltimore? And what do you see as the foreseeable future for the team, and for Tua for that matter? Give me your thoughts. I would love to hear them. Like I said, I reply to everybody. So negative, good, bad, or indifferent, I still reply. That's just who I am. But let me know, guys. Peace.